Jared Goff feels that he's playing the best ball of his career right now. Cat.
He's playing some great ball.
He's definitely playing some good ball.
Don't get it wrong, but you look at his season in 2018 when he threw for 4,688 yards and 32 touchdowns. That was the best year of his career. That was the best ball he was playing in his career. And it helps when you got big Wang Sling and Todd Gurley running in the backfield for you. It makes it a lot easier, but that was the best ball of his career. If he wants to encapsulate that, he'd have to go for 1,000 yards and about 12 more touchdowns.
Yeah.
In these last 5 games, which I don't see happening. I mean, crazier things have happened, but I don't see that happening. He's playing great ball though. It's just not. It's one of his best years. I'll give him that. But
for sure,
I think 2017, 2018 were his best years.
Yeah, and I know that we're seen as like the Jared Goff haters, but I'm telling you guys, I'm just being like realistic about the situation. Matter of fact, Chris, at some point during this segment, I'm going to send you a clip of like what we had to say in September about Jared Goff and his offense. Like I told you guys at the beginning of the year, before this even happened, you and I had a debate about it. I was like, I think this could be his best year. We had that conversation, and it's not. I have the numbers here. In 2018, which is his best year by far, finished year I think with like 32 or maybe even 38 touchdowns, 4,600 yards. But throughout the first 13 games of that season, 27 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, 3,934 yards on 64% completion.
Yeah.
So that's pretty damn good.
Pretty damn good.
Pretty damn good. This year through 13 games, 19 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, 3,022 yards.
Yeah, no, this is his best year since then.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, maybe his second. He had another good year after that, too.
Yeah, he had a good year after that. He had 4,638 yards in 2019. Only had 22 touchdowns, though, and 16 interceptions. But this is one of his best years in a long time. And props to him. He's playing very well. But his best year was by far in 2018.
I think he's happier here, though. Him saying that's my takeaway from, unless he's obviously just capping. I know that the quarterbacks, that's one of the guys I hardly watch their pressers unless it's like after like an emotional win or emotional loss, because that's when you get some truth, right? They're a little bit on edge, so they say some stuff that's a little bit more spicy than typical. But like, outside of that, Jared Goff, I said this on there too. Jared Goff and Nate Hutchinson give you the most bland interviews.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, great guy, love it, love ball, it's my favorite. But
he actually had 34 touchdowns in
2018
because he had 2 on the ground.
Yeah. Yep, I was going to say that too. He had 1 up until that point. I mean, again, this year through 13 games compared to the 13 games in 2018, 8 less touchdowns, 4 more interceptions, and then 912 less yards.
And DNC Entertainment in the Woodward Sports chat says, in a pass-happy offense in L.A. No. That was a Todd Gurley offense in L.A. They ran a lot of play action, and they played off of Todd Gurley. So
100%.
It's pretty similar offense to what he's playing in right now.
Brandon Cook, one of those yak guys, could take it to the crib or take it deep either way. But what I was saying, though, is like I think this is like maybe the best they went to the Super Bowl. Yeah, I can't even say that. But I think he's happier here because of the situation and relationship that he has with Ben Johnson. Again, like, don't forget they tailored this offense together in the offseason, which that was not the case in L.A. That's one of the reasons he kind of felt disrespected at times. And one of the reasons McVay didn't like him is he felt he had to, like, hold his hand through everything. He was in his earpiece up until the final 15 seconds where you can't be. Him and Ben Johnson, there's a little bit more trust there.
Yes.
And Jared Goff has said that multiple times throughout the season and a little bit last year, in the offseason as well, is that, like, they have a relationship and he feels like he's given respect, which the way he says it feels like that was not the scenario in LA, which I know it's not the scenario in LA. That's kind of why they gave him the boot, I mean, it wasn't even just McVay that gave him the boot. You had players speak out afterward. One of them that plays in the Lions now, Michael Brockers.
Yes.
But hey, kudos to him. Like you said, he's ultimately at the end of the day, he is having a good season.
He's having a great season.
Yeah, and it's not anything that people think we're Jared Goff haters.
No.
We said this in the beginning of the season. This is going to be the case. We're big Ben Johnson believers. People bashed us for believing in Ben Johnson. But
That's true.
I'll give you the reality of the situation. Jared Goff wasn't doing this before Ben Johnson. With Ben Johnson here, he is.
Yeah.
Like, that's it for me. But nonetheless, he's still doing well. And especially these past 5 games.
Especially these past 5 games. You can see once Ben Johnson took over last year, you saw the improvement. You saw them using him. He built this entire offense predicated to what Jared Goff can do and do well. And he's been putting that on, full exposure so far this year. So it's good to see it. It's good to see him go out there, And I don't get mad if you say Jared Goff's having a great year. I don't get mad if you say Jared Goff played very well last week. I get mad when you say he's a top 10 quarterback or he's the future of the Detroit Lions. That's when I get mad.
Yeah.
Because that's just simply not true.
Yeah. I'm less of a Jared Goff hater more than I am a troll. I like pissing off.
I said it multiple times. If he's getting paid $15 million a year, you would not hear me complaining at all.
Not at all, dude. What are you going to say, Chris?
I was just going to speak to that point of him not being the quarterback of the future, and that obviously being a very divisive, but I feel like also at the same time unified talk. Like most people are on board with Goff not being the quarterback of the future outside of a few people. Do you really think that he can be happy? Like you spoke to it easy, saying that he's the happiest. You think he's the happiest he's ever been. Do you really think you can be happy when the narrative around you is mostly you're not the quarterback of the future, or people are just constantly not sold on you?
I mean, he needs to make his own happiness. He needs to go out there and show that he can do that.
Yeah.
And change the minds of those people.
Yeah, and plus, like,
tough hill to climb.
Like what we say outside, sure, like maybe he hears it, maybe he doesn't, but I feel like his situation, his relationship is more like internal with those guys, and they all obviously believe in him. We heard Taylor Decker say it after the game last week, and he's going out right now, especially the past 5 games, and he's performing. He even last week, again, because Detroit didn't run the wrong route, last week made the right throw. And I feel like that's like a redemption situation too. You know what I'm saying? Like both for himself and for the naysayers like us. He's like, I can do that. Like you saw it. And maybe it's not consistent enough, sure. But like I think ultimately like where he's at right now within the organization, having them come around, I'm sorry, the organization should like turn back around the season and have an opportunity for the playoffs and having to say, suck it. You guys doubted us. You guys were talking, draft week 4. We had reporters asking the quarterback coach, is he looking at Bryce Young yet and stuff like that. And he's able to like go on this little, 5-game streak, only 1 turnover, and balling. 7 touchdowns. He's playing really well as of late.
He is playing well. You can't hold that. You can't take that away from him. The man is playing very well. He's going out there and doing what he needs to do.
100%. What do you think, JB?
He's playing well. I mean, I give him credit for that. As far as going about his happiness, I think he needs to figure out if this is, the right spot for him. I mean, that is all on himself, whether he thinks he deserves everything that he's getting. I mean, of course, there's going to be criticism no matter where he goes. No matter if he leaves Detroit and goes somewhere else, they're still going to criticize him no matter what. So he has to find his own happiness, but I mean, he's still out there doing his job, playing the best ball that he can as of right now. As far as the future goes, I mean, he has to make his own decisions there, especially playing out on the field. You make your own decisions that way.
And part of it too, I think that's why he's happy too, because he knows Brad Holmes come out, and this is one of the reasons why, like the slappies. I'm lost in the whole situation a little bit, because Brad Holmes come out publicly and said there's been transparent conversation with Jared Goff that if there's an option to upgrade at that position, then they're gonna explore it and more than likely take it. But he still has the opportunity to compete and keep his job. And at this point, if he's competing against projections of like other people that aren't there yet, he's looking pretty damn good.
Yes. Because
he is playing well as of late. So, yeah, I'm sure he's happy right now. Despite what other people have to say, he's still doing what he's got to do. And ultimately, as of late, it's reflected in wins.
That's for sure. Yeah. Chris, you had your hand raised?
No, I was just signaling I got the video.
He's just smelling his armpit.
Oh, you just smelling your armpit?
Oh, yeah. The must. This is more like a – you can stop like 30 seconds. So this is just a prediction from September 22nd. You can run it if you want. All right. I sent it late. I apologize. And you said a lot rests on the shoulders of Jared Goff. I think he can handle it because he was a part of the 13th most highest scoring offense in NFL history.
That was.
And the 2018 Rams. And I got something for you guys, too, in terms of like us keeping the pace of being a top 5 offense in the NFL this year. Because not only has Jared Goff done it before, but in terms of the first 2 games in 2018 when the Rams set that record, Jared Goff was throwing for 65%, 587 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 1 interception. This year in the first 2 games... That was just a flex because we didn't hate it. We predicted this happening.
Yeah, for sure.
We told you guys you could have a good season.
Yeah,
we still wanted something for the future.
Yeah, it's not like we're saying that he's terrible. He can't do anything. We know what he is.
Yeah,
and that's what he is. And I think a lot of people are overvaluing his skill set.
They want his meat,
but he's playing very well. And if he was, like I said, if he wasn't getting paid $30 million a year, you wouldn't hear me complaining at all.